Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tika Rijam Dizaidi. I am from Group 4 and my members name is Ayuni and Wida Zahira. We'll explain about wine deflector process that we choose from part of truck body. Okay, I will explain for main process. Okay, for the main process, which is metal die forming. Okay, the composite material is pressed between heat metal dies. The pressure required depends on the flow characteristic of the feed material. The feed material flow into the contour of the mold and cure at high temperature. The material is heated to the set point and then transferred to the modeling station where the plug and cavity molds are brought together to sequence the material. Okay, they are for this process. There are three types of metal die forming, which is perform modeling, sheet modeling, compound is for the simply that SMC, okay, and block modeling compound, which is MBC. These three modeling technique utilize same type of high pressure modeling equipment but different in the form of the material that it placed inside the mold from the pipe, but mostly processing of wine deflector is sheet modeling compound process. Okay, for sheet modeling compound is a mixture of polymer resin, insert fillers, fiber informants, catalysts, pigment and stabilize, release agent and thickness and possesses strong electric properties. Manufacture of sheet modeling compound is continuous inline process. The metal is sheet both top and bottom with a polyethylene or nylon plastic film to prevent auto adhesion. The paste is spread uniformly onto the bottom film. Chopped glass fiber are randomly deposited into the paste. The top film is introduced and the sandwich is rolled into the predetermined thickness. The sheet is allowed to mature for 48 hours. Okay, for the advantage and disadvantage for this process is, okay, first advantage, first lightweight when compared to other substance, does not necessitate any sacrifice in strength. Okay, second, easy to process and can be manufactured in high volume. Okay, third, short production cycle of the compression modeling process. Okay, lastly, part made using CMC can be created in similarly high volume. Okay, for the disadvantage for this process, which is more equipment needed than layup. Second, mold and tooling costly than layup mold. Third, transparent parts are not possible with CMC and BMC process. Okay, fourth, modeling epoxy have limit shelf life. Okay, next is secondary process. Okay, for secondary process is curing process. During the curing cycle, single monomer and gondoliers combine with or without a curing agent react to create a three-dimensional polymeric network. In the first part of reaction, molecules with various structure are created and their molecular weight rise in time with the magnitude of the reaction until the size of network is equivalent to the size of the product. The system has lost its solubility and its viscosity tends to be infinity. Okay, for curing process, new technology is used. UV curing process. Okay, UV curable chemistry must be fully reliably and effectively cure. This result is enhanced surface properties, aesthetics, applicability, and function of component and products. Okay, UV curing, commonly known as UV curing, is a photochemical process in which high intensity ultraviolet light is used to install cure or dry inks, coatings or adhesive. Okay, UV formulations are liquid monomer and gondoliers mixed with a small percentage of photo initiators and then exposed to UV energy. With a few seconds, the formulation inks, coating or adhesive immediately harden or held ready to further processing. UV curable inks and coating are first used as a better alternative to soft-based products. Okay, for advantage and disadvantage for curing process is high quality, which is improved properties such as scatter and chemical resistance and both strength. Okay, second, environmentally friendly due to soft free technology and less energy. Okay. Third, faster production speeds and capacity. Okay. Lastly, immediately ready for next process step. Okay. For disadvantage for this process, first is the UV light from the lamp must illuminate the entire bond area because show areas will not cure. Okay, second, not all substances are usable with UV curing process. Okay, third, exposure to UV light can be harmful to human explorators who need evaporated eyes and skin protection. Okay. Lastly, for disadvantage, the price of UV curing coating is relatively high for this process. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Ayuni Binti Saimi. I will explain to you guys about the finishing process. For the first one is the shaping process. The shaping process is the operation that may change the geometry of the work material that caused by the apply of heat or the mechanical force or the combination of both of it. There are various ways to classify the shaping process. For the first one is the solidification process. The second one is particulate process. The third one is deformation process. The last one is material removal process. Okay, what is the solidification process? The starting material is the heated to liquid or semi-fluid that cools and solidifies. The material that can use this process is the material that have a low melting point, such as polymer, metal, glass, ceramic. Then the melted material is forced or poured into the mold to form the required shape. Also, casting is the name used for metal, while molding is common term for plastic. What is the particulate processing? The starting material are powder of metal or ceramic. The process includes pressing of the powder into designed die and then sintering. Sintering is heating the material powder below its melting point, make the particle adhere to each other from one piece. Then the powder is first squeezed into die cavity under high pressure and then heated to bond in the individual particles together. So, what is deformation process? Deformation process, the starting work part is the shape by the application of force that exceeds the yield strength of the material. For the material to be formed in this way, it must be sufficiently ductile to avoid fracture during the deformation. To increase ductility, the work material is often heated before forming to a temperature below the melting point. Deformation processes are associated most closely with metalworking and include operations such as fogging and extrusion. So the next one is material removal process. Material removal process are operations that remove excess material from the starting workpiece so that the resulting shape is the desired geometry. The most important process in this category are machining, operations such as turning, drilling, and milling. So, these cutting operations are most commonly applied to solid metal, performed using cutting tools that are harder and stronger than the work metal. So, what is the advantages and disadvantages of the shaping process? The advantages of the shaping process is tooling required for casting process is relatively cheap and inexpensive. The second one is cost of final product is low compared to other process. The third one is almost any metal can be used in this method. So what the disadvantages of this process? The first one is production rate is low compared to casting or fogging. The second one is it is not possible to machine thin section and projection. The third one is there is wastage of material in this process. For coloring process, we choose master batch as our coloring process. So what is the master batch? Master batch is a solid additive for plastic used for coloring plastic or imparting other properties to plastic. A liquid dosage form is liquid color. Master batch is a concentrate mixture of pigment and additive encapsulated during heat process into a carrier resin, which is the cold cut into a granular shape. Master batch allow the processor to color raw polymer economically during plastic manufacturing process. It means the color is while we heated the plastic and the plastic it become liquid. We put the color inside the plastic that already in liquid, so it will mixture until it come the colors. So, what is the advantage and the advantages of the coloring process? The advantage is effectiveness and at extremely low level, and the second one is good on long production run. But the limitation of this process is must have certain amount of production, and the second one is must be distributed evenly to prevent static electricity, and the last one is it will cause color different for each of the product. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rida Zahira binti Muhammad Rahim, and I'm going to proceed to assembly. Assembly is a manufacturing process that often called as a progressive assembly, in which parts were added in sequence until the final assembly is produced. These mean deflector have a few detachable attached pieces and also have 9 panels that attach together. Each panel, including the front of the wind deflector, have at least one attachable member. There are also two parts that have a certain angle, that is the front portion, that have 45 degrees from the track and the slope inward from above to side of the rear end of the track, approximately 15 degrees. This one deflector also made by attaching the edge of flange of each other panel. Okay, let's continue to the disadvantage and advantage of this wind deflector. Advantage of this wind deflector: we can minimize the resistance that the truck when the truck is moving. Also, this wind deflector has aerodynamic shape that can reduce the resistance to the lowest rate and also successfully to save the fuel, because nowadays fuels is very high. The disadvantage of this wind deflector is this wind deflector is very costly and hard to obtain, because this wind deflector have been through a lot of process. Any part of this wind deflector that have been damaged will cost a lot to repair it. Also, this wind deflector is very complicated to be handled. Last but not least, I will proceed with the problem during making wind deflector with the current technology. Firstly is the unstable financial. This is because the current technology is too expensive for industry in our country. So mostly industry of production in our country will just use the old technology. Secondly is the safety of the object is compatible for human. This is because we all knew that the current flow can affect human body. Lastly is a high cost of production. When we use the newest machine, this machine will use high voltage and also may cause the cost of the production will gain a lot. Thank you. That's all from me.